So got to be a great round to watch, which I'm looking forward to. And we're going to get down to that right now and see what our players are up to. And as they saddle on, and I think you can see the fatigue a little bit, you know?
Slowly meandering towards the feature stage.
And, you know, and that's a big part of it, tournaments. I love that aspect of tournaments where it's a bit of an endurance test also. So we're going to see Broken Honor here. A little Lucian the Purifier.
Yeah, bring some Lucian back. A few interesting one-of choices that we did not see from Mo's list earlier. Gonna be the Rengar. This allows you to play him at reaction speed from your hand when you are attacking to where you are attacking, and he has Assault too, so this is 3 for kind of +5 into a battlefield with a unit body to go for it. Very, very cool card. And then the Vayne that you can continue to recur. She comes in ready when your opponent owns a battlefield. She has Assault 3, so that little measly 2, and it turns out to be a 5 when you're attacking in. And when you conquer with her, you can pay 1 energy to bounce her back. So you can kind of recur this value and get her off of the battlefield. Kind of nice against Draven if you can conquer with it to not give those combats back. So kind of some cheeky one-ofs here that are pretty nice for this Lucian deck for Broken Honor, and we'll see if they're able to kind of come into play during these first few games that we're seeing.
Yeah, both cards are good against purple decks. Rengar especially good against Fight or Flight and Rebuke. Yeah. So you can kind of like refight into that battlefield. We also see Hextech Ray here joining Falling Star as a rule spell, not usually seen outside of Kai'Sa.
Yeah, kind of nice to deal with things like Overzealous Fan if we end up in a Draven matchup. It hits things like Ezreal, it hits Fizz. There's a decent amount of stuff at 3. I think 4 has been really the magic number of Spirit Forge though, so Ray has kind of fallen a little to the wayside. Of course, Kai'Sa still plays it because it's just very good value in that Kai'Sa deck, and you still have Stupefy to kind of combo with it and still beat those 4s. But we'll see if this Ray ends up being really strong. I think the biggest thing, if it ends up being like a Draven matchup or something like that, is you're going to get to deal with the fans. But going up against Viktor, not as many targets that you're going to be really excited about.
Yeah, so Danix playing Viktor. We've seen Viktor on camera a few times today. And definitely a different list than the list we saw earlier. We see 2 copies of Singularity and 2 Sharks as well, the Riptide Rex. And but again, kind of a list focused on units that actually get into combat. We see the Honest Brokers. We see the Pickpockets as well. So what's going on here? We see Consult to Pass too, a little bit of a hidden action package too.
A bit closer to what we saw out of Ghoster Driver in Bologna, having the full suite of Xin Zhao, the full Pickpockets, as well having those in the main board, dealing with the Ezreal, the Miracle Dravens, killing all those seals, the pesky seals running around. The Pickpocket is going to go clubbing them, so they're going to be just fine with that.
Sounds great. So we got Viktor versus Lucian coming in round number 8. Danix our Viktor player. Get our players all set, all ready to go. We got Danix on the right, Viktor Herald the Arcane, looking at Treasure Hoard as the battlefield, and Broken Honor, Lucian Purifier, Forge of the Fluffed as the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, Lucian does not have an exhaust ability, so Forge of the Fluffed is going to be able to get some really good value. You can tap Lucian to equip one of those weapons and not de-ramp yourself. And it's very, very nice battlefield for Lucian.
Good stuff. Let's bob down. Round number 8. Let's go. These players are both 5-1 and 1. So this is effectively a knockout match for top 8. I do not believe 5-2 and 1 will be good enough for top 8.
Not even good enough for day 2. So,
oh, right, yeah.
So this is,
So that is true.
This is a true winning in, but also the win here. This can be the start of a submarine miracle run, right? You win out from here, and you're essentially guaranteed top 8 at X1 and 1. But, a loss here, you don't even make day 2.
Right.
So this is the big, this is the big pedal to the metal. X1 and 1 being the maybe scariest, but also very exciting record to be at here, right? You can't lose anymore. But if you keep winning, top 8 is well within your reach.
You don't want to lose anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So
who wants to lose?
Just don't lose.
Yeah.
All right, Doran's Blade comes in. Broken Honor here on the play. Danix, our Viktor player, is going to be going second. And we're going to see one little recruit token. And is there a second play to go along with it? There is not. So just a recruit. Passing back Broken Honor's way. A couple more runes. And I think one too many. That's okay, a little whoopsie there. And then a little shuffle fix, maybe not. That's cool. All right, so next step here is going to be Fire the Lucian, Weapon Master for the Blade. Kind of another scripted chosen champion where you're playing Lucian on turn 2 a lot of the time. Right?
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to do in Lucian. You want Dorn's Blade turn 1, Lucian turn 2, start playing the game. Right, it's a little bit annoying that you kind of have to waste a rune with this curve, but it just is what it is, and it's still a very powerful kind of 1-2 punch that you get to play with this deck.
Now, the Viktor deck has a lot of removal spells, so it's kind of able to, even though Lucian can kind of get in a hit and run, the Viktor deck will be able to use Hidden Blade, Cold a Week, find other ways to kind of deal with the Lucian outside of combat. Like, you might just see a Cold Week right now, right?
I think we will, right? You've already been able to use this Recruit, get the Conquer, get the gold. You just rip this Cold a Week, don't even bother letting this Lucian get a lot of value, and there's not really any other plays in the hand that I'm very excited about. So let's just kill the Lucian. Let's just go ahead and make another Recruit, most likely, and just kind of keep on keeping on with what Viktor loves to do. Keep the board clear, build your base of recruits, and just keep conquering with these recruits over and over again to build a large point lead.
So back Broken Honor's way. Need to rebuild. As we were saying earlier, not a lot of Accelerate in this deck, so kind of got to get back on the board. Sure. Never mind, just kidding. We got Confront.
Well, there's not a lot. You are right.
It is not technically Accelerate. It is Enters Ready, so yeah. I was right. Technically right is the best kind of right.
Yeah, but Confront is still, the great way that you do get to have units enter ready, even though not a lot of the deck does, and we are going to see just a Pouty Poro go in, conquer Forge of the Fluffed, and that will allow this Poro to then have a Dorn's Blade as a little treat for that conquer of the Forge of the Fluffed. It's really thematic. The Poro's getting in there, it's getting all kitted up, and now it's forging a Dorn's Blade for itself.
Pouty Poro loves a little treat. And Poro should be very good in this matchup, right? So, of course, Viktor, quite spell-based, a lot of removal spells, and that Deflect can certainly start to add up. So, Poro's in, and now at 4 might, going back Danix's way. And Viktor, a deck with a lot of big, powerful plays, so these higher rune counts start to get pretty scary.
Yeah, this is where Xin Zhao can actually make a lot of value. So a single more recruit being added to the backline here is going to allow Xin Zhao to enter ready, because you just need to have 2 or more other units in your base. When you play him, then he'll come in ready. And there's a Stupefy to add to it. And yes, you will have to pay the deflect cost. And as you're saying, Pouty Poro is still going to be able to gain a little equity that way. But then Xin Zhao can potentially just get a free trade. And you still maybe have to play around things like Punch First. That's something you maybe want to consider in a spot like this. But if you force your opponent into a Punch First, you're still kind of creating a better board state for yourself where they've deramped so many extra runes that it can start to be okay.
It's your runes is definitely a lot. So Danix makes that recruit. And, I mean, I feel like making the recruit is committing to this line first. So, but I'm going to go pop the other recruit in, check out the Treasure Hoard again. And we're going to see a Hex deck Ray.
Okay.
So there you go. The Ray takes down the recruit. A tough exchange, being down a rune and then using a card on only a recruit. So maybe not ideal. It does, however, put Danix down to only 1 unit.
Okay, so instead, Danix, instead of going for the Xin Zhao approach, is just going to go for wages plus a Stupefy afterwards. Use the initial gold to pay the first deflect cost. Now you're going to have to pay one for real. However, still going to be able to remove the unit and get a new replacement gold coming through. Not going to get a score on this turn, but overall just keeping the board clear, getting an additional gold. Still having a recruit on the board and similar rune totals, but the hand is 3 of a kind for Xin Zhao, and not really a card that wants to be played next to each other. It wants to be played in tandem with a myriad of other units that have been played to the board.
Yeah, and that was painful. Pouty Poro really kind of chomping away at the runes and the gold there, but we're going to see, we see the combo.
Well, the combo is getting assembled.
The combo is here, so game over Broken Honor, right?
I mean,
maybe one way or another.
Maybe, yeah.
So all those powerful equipment are in play, but of course they are very lonely. They have no unit to hang out with. Going back Danix's way, we're going to see another recruit. And then popping right in. And we have a ready unit, ready to go.
Yeah, Xin Zhao gets to come down ready. You get to go for the double conquer. I mean, it just goes up to 3, but I think that's still fine. You just start scoring because Viktor is a deck that can still potentially look for an endgame hold, so you don't have to just play point tempo with Viktor. It's not like, Aurelia, perma double conquer that you're looking for, or even Lucian really wants to play that point tempo as best as possible. So you're going to just see it go into 3 here, and no big reason not to. And the question is does Broken Honor have a unit in the hand? I mean, I think developing the combo is fine, even if there are units in the hand, you don't necessarily need to develop one because you might just be putting it in danger of dying to some back row access. But does he have one? That's what we all want to know.
I want to see Confront into Rune Runner.
Yeah, I mean, that'd go crazy.
That's what I want to see.
I mean, that'd go real crazy. Okay, First Mate first feels like that's the only unit in hand.
It says first right on the card.
Yeah, that
First Mate comes in first.
So now the second mate needs to get played.
Yep. All right, so First Mate will pick up the Trinity Force. Of course, you get a hold to get the full value of that one, so there's 2 might at present.
Yeah, we'll see what he can actually get done. Like, you can still equip the spear, but if it's not going in, I don't know if I want to equip the spear yet. In fact, I don't like jamming all the equipment onto the first mate if there's not a way to actually ready it on this turn. You do still need to play around the backline removal, so going up to 7 might is a reasonable idea, but not equipping... Oh, yeah, of course, because you're going to equip it via the Relentless Pursuit. So, going to Relentless Pursuit to pick up the spear and now start going for some Conquers.
All right, it's game time.
Here we go.
So the full equipment stack is on the first mate. Pursuit puts it in, and now we get to see a Hidden Blade.
Well, that was short-lived.
All for naught. So all the equipment falls helplessly back to the battlefield, and maybe next turn.
And now we get to ask the age-old question, does Broken Honor have a unit? There's the big one that we have to find, and 2 more cards added to the hand from that Hidden Blade. Confront.
Okay.
We go again.
Okay.
Is it our favorite Poro? It
wow.
is.
All right.
Look at that face.
Howdy Poro is back, and this time he's got some friends. Quite the armory for this Poro. Entering ready, of course, and now we can see combo again.
So, unfortunately, we can't. Because it costs 1 energy and 1 power to equip the spear.
Ah, yes. One of the few equipments that has the energy cost as well.
So instead, you can go to the Forge of the Fluffed, and once again, the Poro can have a Doran's Blade as a little treat, or a spear. I think the spear is actually really nice because you get to dodge the energy cost with the Forge. So I think that's the most efficient way to do it.
So now total might in the Poro is 6, is that correct?
Yes, 2, 4, and that is 6.
Okay. So we got a whole point, putting Danix up to 4, Broken Honor at 2. And again, we're getting to that really high rune range for Viktor, where a lot of these really huge spells can come online. 6 is a tough number for both Singularity and Riptide Rex, which both do exactly 6. So, and then it's at the point now where I think you're almost happy just firing off Singularity to kill the 1 unit, right?
Yeah, you would do anything, really. It would be fine. But this is a very efficient clear to just go for the Watcher. You don't even have to pay a deflect cost for this, so you just kind of send this in. Just
good old-fashioned combat. So Watcher comes in, and once again, the equipment falls to the ground. That's point number 5 for Danix. And a retreat and a pass.
Right. So I have to ask you an age-old question. Does Broken Honor have a unit?
We're going to find out. And maybe the third Confront.
Yeah, the third Confront as well.
Yep.
Really get things rolling. Maybe the second and third mate can show up this time.
Oh, okay. It's a party. You got to run a ship. You need a first, second, and third mate. Arr.
Okay.
That works.
Hey.
All right, so Kaisa, look, I could only assume accelerated. This is going to be a costly rune turn, though.
It sure is.
So we got 1 rune going down for the Kaisa Accelerate. And, of course, for each of the equips as needed. Thousand Tales on 7. Kaisa starts at 4. And we got all the equipments are currently +2, so it's 2 each.
Yeah, but an additional 1 from the Purifier, at least offensively. So
correct, the Assault.
You are far and above any might that you need to reach for the Conquer on this turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the idea of equipping the Spear and the Trinity to score to 4, and then using the Forge to equip the Doran's Blade after the fact in order to just beef up the might total so that potentially you can hold into any unit combat. We know Danix is drawn into a drag under, so no matter what, this is going to end up getting kind of like punished on the following turn. But I do think Broken Honor is doing kind of what he can with this deck. This is really solid. You get to score 2 points up to 4. You draw a card. You equip the Doran's Blade for free because of the Forge of the Fluffed. I mean, it's everything you want to be doing with the deck. Unfortunately, Viktor just has a lot of removal and is being able to deal with each of these individual units.
Yeah. So far, Broken Honor has asked a question every turn. And I would say a pretty big question.
Yeah.
Too. You know, it's been a very threatening question, but Danix had the answer on every street. Starting with that first call of the week, which was really a great place to start. So, Kaisa here, like you said, will draw a card. Okay.
Sabo's I mean, that is really effective in this spot. You get to take the drag under. It is your only option. You get to see that this is going to be Riptide Rex, which means, unfortunately for you, there's no way you're actually holding, because that damage will be enough to at least clear away the Kaisa. But, you know, hey, if I equip this this additional Doran's Blade, that might help me get a better trade.
So, Blade's a free equip, might as well fire it on there.
Yeah, no reason not to.
Yep. So, still a tough spot. The problem here is that Broken Honor lost a lot of runes this turn. You know, so that rebuild phase, you know, be able to ask a good question every turn. But
I think he must have forgotten about the Forge here because, you know, Lucian is still untapped. He's gotten it every single other turn, right? He's just absolutely...
Yeah. Maybe a bit of resignation, kind of seeing the hand and being like, ooh, okay, this is not going to go well. So now even further down on runes. And again, you know, like I said in the intro to the match, fatigue is definitely a factor at this stage in the tournament. Almost a test of wills, if you will. Right, so, doubling up on the creatures. 1 is nice, 2 is nicer. How about 3?
Yeah. I mean, it's Sin City, and we've got 3 Xin Zhao on the board right now. So I think, you know, it's very fitting for the Las Vegas tournament that Xin Zhao will make this appearance, and he is going to just send all 3 of them in, trade 2 of them away to clear away the Kaisa.
So do you prefer that to using the Riptide Rex to deal 6 and then coming in with 1 of them?
No. Okay. No, I do actually kind of prefer the Riptide Rex play. I think playing 1 Xin Zhao, play the Riptide Rex, trade 1 Xin in, and then, you know, just conquer from there. Go to 6 and then play for double conquer on the next turn is my preference in that spot. But this is going to set up for a double hold, and you're probably just always winning with the double hold here. I think it's kind of like... you know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other at this point because of this lead, because Broken Honor is only on 4 runes. Yeah, I just kind of feel that Danix really cannot lose in that spot. It says both are very strong plays. Both are setting you up for success afterwards.
So really clean game from Danix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had the answers on all the right streets. And honestly, Broken Honor, every turn we felt like, ooh, are we falling apart here? No, a big thing comes in, but Danix has the answer. And that's some pretty impressive stuff. So Danix up a game here in this final match here in the last round of Regional Qualifier Las Vegas. We got Jim and Cass in the booth for you. We got Void Gate as Danix's second battlefield, and Obelisk of Power for Broken Honor.
Yeah. I think Broken Honor in that game as well, I'm not really seeing any problems coming from the gameplay. I think he's actually making a lot of really correct decisions. It's just coming down to the structure of Lucian versus Viktor. You don't have counterspells, right? You are beholden to, my opponent has a card that says my unit dies, and when they cast it, I say, oh, okay. Like, there's nothing I can do about it, right? So I think for Broken Honor, if there's any sideboard tech, something like Unyielding, it can help it against some of these spells. But Viktor, being in yellow, has a lot of spells that actually just say, okay, your unit dies. And there's not really counterplay in these colors to that specific line of text.
Yeah, and a lot of pressure on Sabotage. There are only 3
Sabo
copies.
is great.
And that really is one of the few ways to, you could say pick apart, but there's just so many great removal spells. And very often you're going to cast it and just see 2 removal spells in hand for Danix and get a go. So, pressure's on for Broken Honor. Great start for Danix. You've got a Recruit and a, we got there, is that an Honest Broker?
Yeah, Honest Broker Recruit is the follow-up to turn 1 with the starting with Obelisk for the Lucian, just having the immediate Lucian Merciless. Going to go into Obelisk, just start trying to score points. And we'll see what the development in the back is following this. Because last game started in a decent spot for Broken Honor. Combo found pretty much right away. Relentless Pursuit was there as well, right? Kind of like everything you would want. However, not able to keep a unit around to actually utilize it.
So, Trinity forces the play. Declines to go for the hold. Just going to back the Lucian out with the old hit and run. Going back Danix's way. 6 runes already. The Obelisk Power games are crazy. 2 units available and open path to both battlefields. Broker's going to come in, take that first point on Obelisk of Power. Recruit comes into Void Gate, takes in point number 2. So a 2-1 lead for Danix. And then, oh man, some big heavy hitters in hand. Imperial Decree, Singularity. Singularity gotta be backbreaking this matchup.
Yeah, it's this weird thing where it's like, you almost want to snap off Singularity and just be like, okay, you can't have your Lucian. However, 1 rune up means Unyielding is probably something you should respect. And also, there's a good chance it gets better, and you could just develop back row, especially because I actually feel pretty decent about developing the Viktor leader here because Honest Broker is sitting at Obelisk of Power and is very likely to be something that gets taken down, and you get to get that kind of free recruit. So instead of holding open a bunch of energy, the only action speed spell I remember seeing at 5 energy was going to be that Imperial Decree, but there's a lot more smaller action that could happen with the Wages, the Hidden Blade, the Facebreaker.
Yeah, Facebreaker, Hidden Blade in hand, Wages of Pain. There's a lot of options. Definitely a pretty telling turn where Broken Honor's going to be like, whoa, 5 runes up,
yeah,
huh?
Hold on.
Yeah, oh, I guess I just don't have anything, you know? Sorry. So, got to go Broken Honor's way. Broken Honor's have to think about how he wants to navigate through all of these open runes and these potential pitfalls of these variety of removal spells.
Interesting idea of maybe trying to force Broken Honor to just develop backline because you're holding on to Singularity, saying like, you don't want to run into all of these, so you should play another unit. Like,
right.
you should play another unit here. Like, another unit's really good here.
Yep.
And then you can set up the Singularity. Now, unfortunately, Rune Runner cannot be selected by a Singularity, so that does not fully work for Danix, as Broken Honor does take the bait and plays another unit. It's just not the one that Danix is hoping to see.
Yeah, so Rune Runner seems great against most of Danix's deck, but Imperial Decree in hand is a pretty good answer. So things lining up well here. This does seem like a pretty good matchup for Viktor. Going back Danix's way, a double hold up to 4, 4-1 in Danix's favor. Again, this is a win and in match for day 2. The player who loses this match will find some fun side events to play tomorrow. So, want to keep on playing?
They qualify for the side events.
Yep. So we're going to see immediate Viktor token in the back row. What is the next step here? Starting there.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of keep playing around these spells that you've got in hand. The Imperial Decree is a lot of value. There is even a world where you let Broken Honor kind of walk in and you just cast Imperial Decree at action speed to try and deal with the Rune Runner. I mean, there is a completely valid play that Danix can look for. With the point lead, though, I kind of like, slowing it down, just develop, and then just use Decree to win the game at 6. Often, people are afraid of casting it too soon because it's not like a win the game button, but it feels like a win the game card, right? This is one of those games where I actually feel like being patient with it and using it as a win the game card is quite reasonable. And we are going to instead see, a hidden, I assume Hidden Blade, because hiding Facebreaker seems really suspicious, into Rune Runner, and this is just going to be used to draw additional cards and have more options going forward.
Yep. So it's either Recruit, Retreat. I assume it's Hidden Blade. This Honest Broker's like, wait, what did you hide here?
Yeah, excuse me.
What's the plan? Is it someone going to tell me about this? Or so passing back Broken Honor's way. And now a lot of runes, definitely getting more set up this game. It has more than one unit in play for the first time in the Rune Runner. And Rune Runner is a really good unit to have. And then Lucian as well. Trinity Force. And then what is the next step going to be?
Well, let's see a Sabotage. That would be
great place to start.
A really good start.
Really
know what you're walking into.
Yeah, really illuminate what's going on here. And, in some cases you can't play around stuff, but at least take the best card, get some information, and figure out what the best path to proceed here in this pretty tough matchup.
Yeah, I do feel like if you can take this Decree, the game becomes a lot more winnable.
Absolutely, yeah. The Rune Runner Decree is the current ace in the hole against the Rune Runner. Otherwise, without the Decree, these targeted spells can't stop it, and if it can get big enough, it could just be a house.
Because right now the unit combat's still pretty scary, like, admittedly. There's still a lot of might that's going to be available for Danix, and, we saw the Watcher in the previous game, so that's something you have to be concerned about always. But I do think, like, with the Decree there, it feels like there's almost no out, like there's no win available that I'm seeing for Broken Honor. And so if a Sabo is found, at least this gives you an opportunity where, hey, maybe there is like a light at the end of the tunnel and there's a way to actually navigate. This matchup actually feels quite hard for Lucian because of the fact that there's just not a lot of great answers to all the different spells and removal that Danix has, and I think it often needs to start with a good Sabotage.
Yeah, and the variety too.
Correct, yeah.
So, yeah, but I think here, if you are Broken Honor and you have the read that was a Hidden Blade, time to cast Sabotage is now. It's not the start of the turn. Yeah. Let the Hidden Blade go off, draw some more cards, and I'll get to look at the full amount. But we'll see what Broken Honor has in store for us. It's going to be a Yona.
Yeah, Yone getting set up. Great way to deal with Viktor Leader if you can end up having any unoccupied battlefields. But what I will say is siding in Yone against Viktor is a little surprising to me as a whole because you're not conquering open battlefields very frequently. Often there's a recruit there that you're killing when you go conquer, so.
Ouch. So Lucian goes in, tries to go for a hit and run on Void Gate, and Wages of Pain. Pain indeed. So Lucian is down, the treasure is in, and this board is looking mighty nice for Danix. To the point where the decree is almost not necessary. There's enough stuff in play to kind of just go after this Rune Runner. But we're going to see an equip. And unfortunate for Broken Honor here, this Imperial Decree is probably going to cause some trouble this turn, I would think.
Yeah, I was mentioning waiting until it wins the game. I do think that there's a very, very good argument for just killing the Rune Runner while it is sitting on this point right now. And
right, with Trinity Force on it also.
Yeah, and not waiting until the final turn, because what you can do instead is use that to clear the Rune Runner now, and then you use the Hidden Face Breaker to try and look to even hold on this next turn.
Yep. So Recruit comes in a Void Gate. That's point number 5. Getting point number 6 here, also a thing you want to do, and there is the Decree. So now, whenever a unit deals damage, it will kill whatever it deals damage to. Sorry, the other way. Whenever a unit takes damage, kill it. Same thing. So Recruit comes in and says, "Hi, Rune Runner, how big are you? Don't care." And now this is tough, because even if there is, a Hex Tech Ray or something like that here, there's a few more recruits just next in line.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to see.
I think this can go base.
See a pursuit, and all right, just back it up.
Yeah.
So
I was like, I'm pretty sure it says location, not battlefield. So yeah, gonna go ahead to base.
That's pretty good, right? So now the Decree's gone.
Yeah.
So now this Rune Runner has a chance to kind of run away with things if we can get it a little bit bigger. So pursuit, fighter flight impression, another recruit for Danix, and still developing a pretty good board here. It's probably a little less impressive than it looks. They are just 1 might recruits, but still plenty of good spells in hand. But again, those spells might not be able to touch the Rune Runner. So we're going to see a hidden card at the Void Gate, which is, we saw the Face Breaker in hand.
Yeah, it should still be there. With the Ruin at home, I don't think Danix is going to ever hide this Face Breaker.
Yep.
I believe there was a Consult that passed in hand, or it was a Hidden Blade, one of the two.
Yep. We got another hidden card too. So time to play the shell game. And going back Broken Honor's way. All right, so, I mean, Rune Runner, hey, survive a turn. Kind of dodge that Imperial Decree bullet. Now we see Singularity in hand, kind of hopes looking on. Hidden Blade, same thing. But can Rune Runner make some noise, is the question.
We're in here.
All right, sing me a song. So we're going to see a Consult in response to draw 2 cards.
And then draw 2.
Then we're going to see
believe.
Other hidden card is another Hidden Blade. So Recruit's going to bite it and take 2 more cards. So going to concede a point this turn. That does open up a battlefield for the Yane. So maybe things turn around here a little bit. And, I think that for Broken Honor, if the majority of Danix's cards are in hand, that's not a bad place to be. They are often very expensive. They are very impactful cards like Singularity, Riptide Rex. But if you can only do 1 a turn, and Broken Honor is able to kind of get in here and start making some moves, that's not too shabby.
Yeah.
We could see a path here.
Yeah, I was trying to think if there's a world where actually playing the Hidden Blade there and losing your Viktor is not the correct line, but also just drawing a million cards and being ready to play like another Decree on the next turn feels pretty good. So
sure, finding Decree is huge, but I mean, that's a big question. Is what's more important, 2 cards in hand or Viktor on the back row?
Yeah.
Something to answer. Danix says, I want the cards. So, more runes coming in now. Broken Honor on these battlefields and on them strongly. That Rune Runner is huge. And we see so many cards in hand. And this is a spot where if you're Broken Honor, you're just like in the mental discussion is no Decree, no Decree,
Yeah.
no Decree, no Decree.
The Singularity got a lot better, and I actually think there's exactly enough room for Singularity Call the Weak, and I think both of those are in hand, which completely wipes the board.
Okay.
I think that is very likely the line we're going to end up with Danix. When you get to draw your whole deck, I think you often are able to find some of these really strong spell combinations. And we saw that Singularity all game. I'm pretty sure I saw Call drawn, so Singularity going to deal 6 to 2 units, going to kill the Bryn here, going to kill the Yone. Going to leave you still with 3 recruits back where you get to slam the Call the Weak. get rid of one of your recruits, get rid of that Ruin Runner, and then conquer both sides for the win. The only hope would have been that with that one rune, there was an Unyielding Spirit, and as we're seeing him pack up those cards, there is not.
Yeah, Ruin Runner, again, really good against half the cards in Danix. I mean, more than half, but Call of the Week also is a big one, and there it is. Yep, all right, so here's Call of the Week. Ruin Runner's going down, and that is tough. Broken Honor really had a nice setup there over the last few turns, really, and that's going to do it. So that's the game. Danix takes it down. Danix 6-1-1 on to day 2. Our Viktor player going to be playing for possibly a best of, possibly top 8, possibly a championship.
Yeah, still alive. This could be the very start of the miracle run for Danix going into that day 2. Has the potential for top 8. And unfortunately for Broken Honor, that is going to be the end of the road for this tournament. Not going to be able to sneak into that day 2, but still a great run overall. I think going X2-1 on day 1, still a great feat. 5-2-1 is a good record.
Yeah, that's
not quite good enough to make day 2.
Not bad at all. Tough matchup there. I like text him, "Hi, Mom, I'm on day 2. It's awesome." really good stuff. So great to see, and Viktor looked great there. You know.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff. Again, I think a tough matchup for Lucian. You know, Viktor definitely has some polarizing matchups, right?
Yeah, it feels very difficult. It's like any deck that just cannot deal with the spells is going to have some trouble. And the only tool that I'm really looking at in that Lucian deck would be something like an Unyielding Spirit in the side or the Ruin Runner to try and answer it. But, you know, there's still answers. Decree and Call, as we saw, are both ways that Ruin Runner can be stopped by the Viktor. And so all those different tools, all that extra removal, and Viktor tends to draw more cards than Lucian. It just kind of leads to this recipe where the two decks don't line up super well for Lucian's favor. It lands up great for Viktor.
Yeah, it's really tough when you have these interactive elements to kind of fight back, but you really draw the right half at the right time. And that adds a whole other element to, well, I need my deck to work, I need equipment, I need units, and I need to have the right interaction at the right times. And if I'm able to do it, I mean, valiant fight there in game 2. Really, I thought that that Ruin Runner was going to be able to kind of take through it, but enough cards drawn, and our Viktor player takes it down. And let's hear from our newly minted day 2 player.
I'm here with Danix after taking the victory on Viktor. You've officially now made day 2. How does it feel?
It feels great, yeah. I was a little worried going in, but, you know, made it through.
So Viktor, a pretty popular choice actually for the weekend. How did you land on this deck?
Yeah, I've been playing Viktor since set 1. I just really like his playstyle, and I feel like set 2, there's just kind of a lot more flexibility in what you can do. It's a tricky deck to build, though, because there's like so many options that seem good, so, yeah.
What have your matchups been like? Is it kind of what you expected metagame-wise, or have you hit kind of a lot of different things on day 1?
I've pretty much hit most of the top meta, I would say, yeah. So nothing surprising.
And of course, now you've made day 2, you can continue making that run. You have to win out quite a lot to kind of make it far, but how do you feel you're going to do now that you've officially made it to tomorrow?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some opportunity. I just got to play well and, you know, luck of the draw.
It's just that easy. Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks.